Let us also bring the Singapore experience. Alexander, you've worked for a couple of years or so many years in Singapore in the banking sector, providing SMEs. When we look at the loan book value here for banks, it's almost like 44% just going for SMEs. Can you just give us more insight on Singapore and how the way they operate in Singapore, and what can we learn from them and bring it here?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of, well, first of all, the GCC, we did some study, and we found that the SME, the bank's penetration of the SME is only about 2%. UAE is about 4%. Okay. And I think Singapore, I think between 10 to 15%. And I remembered 5 years ago when we did a study on SME banking in Singapore, we actually got a figure that was like 32 billion Singapore dollars given out to SMEs. We have that data compiled annually by the Monetary Authority of Singapore and the Association of Banks. The banking sector in Singapore is pretty well developed. They form an association and they share data. So there's a credit bureau. They share consumer credit data as well as business banking data, SME banking data. So this transparency, it feeds it's into a virtuous cycle of loans, and the government comes in very innovatively, have loan insurance schemes, securitization, very, very well advanced and thought through processes and new banking solutions. In the UAE, the most common financing solution is trade financing, which not surprising because Dubai, 50% of the economy is driven by trade, re-export. So many banks here have very fantastic, sophisticated trade financing solutions. But when it comes to long-term factory loans, there's a knowledge gap and there's a risk aversion towards supporting this. Whereas in Singapore, where I come from, because manufacturing is 25% of GDP, you find that factory loans, long-term loans up to 15, 20 years is very, very common. And that's where it has fueled the manufacturing sector in Singapore. And you know, manufacturing has a multiplier effect down the value chain.
So in this rate of growth that you're working on, when do you think we can reach at the stage where you have 15% of book value, loan book value going to SME?
I would just say that more to say that the SME penetration rate by banks, it's 4% currently in the UAE. I hope to see it grow up to about 6 to 8%, in 3 to 5 years' time.
3 to 5 years?
Yes.
Okay, this is good. Yeah, optimistic maybe figure. Okay, let me move again to